One of the biggest issues I've had with After Effects for a little while now has been the ability to quickly cycle through drop-down menus in any given effect. For example, in the fractal noise effect, you're given a large drop-down menu of over 10 options, and if you want to look through each one, you have to click on the drop-down menu, click your next option, click on the drop-down menu, click on your next option, and so on, and it gets a bit painful pretty quick if you want to quickly preview lots of options, especially because there are lots of effects that have very long drop-down menus such as this. So my current solution involves a couple of very quick, very bare bones scripts that I put together in Extend script that basically, when run, they get a reference to whatever property you have selected, and then they increment that value either +1 or -1, depending on the script. There's a set of two. And the idea is you set a shortcut for each of these scripts so that when you use that shortcut, whatever property you have selected, you can quickly cycle through. To install these scripts, there's a couple of easy methods. The first way is to take the two downloaded script files and put them into your After Effects scripts folder, which will look something like this. In my case, it's in app data, roaming, Adobe, After Effects, version number, and then the scripts folder. The alternative method is to go File, Scripts, Install Script File, and then you'll navigate to where your two scripts are installed at and install them. In either case, you're going to have to restart After Effects for them to properly show up. Because what you want is for them to appear in this menu down here. So we're going to restart After Effects real quick. Okay, so I've restarted After Effects, and now the script files show up where they're supposed to right here, which means I can now assign keyboard shortcuts to these scripts. What we can do is go to Edit, Keyboard Shortcuts, and then search for Selected Property, and that should pull up both of them, and then assign whatever shortcut you want. In my case, I do Shift Page Down and Shift Page Up. Another quick note is that even though these are +1 and -1, I'm mapping them to page down and page up respectively, because when working with drop-down menus, when you go up a value, visually that's lower in the drop-down menu. So in my head, it makes sense to press a down key to go down in the drop-down menu, even though that's +1 in value. But you can invert that if you wish. It's personal preference. Now with those successfully installed, we can now cycle through drop-down menus by selecting the property and using our predefined shortcuts. It's worth noting that this technically works for any property that has a value because it just adds one or subtracts one to the value, so you can use it on other things that you want to increase or decrease by one if you feel so inclined. However, there are a couple of issues that I'd like to point out real quick. If you, for example, want to select a property up here in your Effect Controls panel, you cannot directly select that property up here by clicking on it. You have to theoretically go down to your layer, effects, the effect, and then you can select the actual property. But a way around this is to click on the drop-down menu and then click an item in that drop-down menu, and that will select the property down here for you, and then your shortcuts will work. So that can save you from having to navigate down into all this. And another issue is that some drop-down menus on certain effects will have these divider bars on them, which unfortunately count as index values in the property value. So when the script runs into these bars, it will, in a rather strange fashion, default back to the first item in the list, and sometimes might cause strange visual artifacts on the right side. Because it's landing on this divider and it basically has no idea what to do with that information. If anyone knows of a way to bypass this in the script, I'm all ears, but as far as I could tell, there was no way to actually read that information from pre-existing drop-down menus. But I'm more than willing to update the script in the future if that could be fixed. But in the meantime, you just have to be aware that it might hit those dividers and act a little silly goofy. But aside from that, it's a really easy way to select a property real quick and just get some quick visual feedback by cycling through the different options to see what's available. Should save a bunch of time in terms of just getting really quick feedback.